and he was always making like a pose, like he's like a little wrestler, like his little arms are sticking out, but it naturally sticks out like that because he's always been hardworking, and when he was a baby groundhog, basically, I guess called a baby hog, he had to bring, he had to help out his family. Got a little tail like that. Of course, actually, I forgot. He's got some buck teeth. So, you can straighten that up a bit. So, he looked like Ørwin. I forgot. Hold on, I was continuing. Okay, so he lived with his family, and his arms are shaped like that. Like they always look strong looking, like he's showing off. Because when he was just a little young hog, he had to collect wood, and he had to go and chop trees down, just like a beaver. So, of course, this is what his big buck teeth before was chopping trees down. So he'd go out with his mother and his father and his many siblings, and they would cut trees. But of course, the groundhog's teeth are not as vigorous and like it would cut us like beavers. So it took the whole entire family to cut down a single tree that was kind of small in diameter. So here, this is like a tall pine tree. It's basically like a little sapling. It doesn't really look like. Hold on, I'm trying to draw it. Top of the tree is the branches. It's like what pine trees look like, kind of. Alright, I'm trying to. Like that, and they had pine trees, their leaves were like thistles. Not thistles, but long. Like, they look like this. Yeah, there's a bunch of them. Just a bunch of long, I guess, pine needles. Yeah, it's called pine needles. Anyways, it was like a diameter like this large, and the whole family would work around. You know, this little brother. Little brother here, another little brother here, and you know, Ørwin is, of course, he's kind of up the tree. He's starting at the top because they're trying to, you know, break it down into small pieces. So Ørwin would be at the very top. It kind of looks like a little bear, but Ørwin would be at the top, climbing it. Little tail, he'd be at the top trying to climb the tree, and then he'd be cutting down. He'd start at the branches, they'd fall down. Snap. Look out below. Of course, a branch might fall on his brother, like bonk him on the head. But and then after all the branches were cut down at the very top, he'd continue working his way down. He'd chop here, let that fall. Continue down about 2 feet. Chop, 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 chop. Continue down a little bit more. And then all the way down to the bottom, the basin. And then they would have to dig, because groundhogs are very good at digging and making holes. And they would make So anyways, so yes, his arms are very strong because after everything had fallen down to the other logs, branches, they snip it up in little pieces. He would carry it in his arms, so he'd have a big, branch here. Big, and maybe there's like a little branch right here sticking off, like that, and maybe a couple little thistle, like needles here and there. And then he'd walk it back to the burrow, back to the hole that his family lived in. So he looked very strong looking. And there was actually on his arm, it looked like there was a tattoo. But the tattoo is not real, not a tattoo, but what had happened was Ørwin and his best friend. Ørwin's best friend is a bird, and it's a blue jay. The name is Darwin, the blue jay. And Darwin and Ørwin would go there. Well, they went to a actual construction zone, and of course they're not allowed to venture out of the deep magical forest. But there is a cave, like a little cave, and it has it's a weird cave because it's kind of glistening and magical. And Ørwin and Darwin went through it, and it's like it teleported them somewhere else, and it teleported them into I guess the world here, so the human world. And it's like a little mountain, like a little cliff. Well, and then there was this little cave right here. So Ørwin, just walking, and of course little Darwin flying behind him, and they went in it and just say these are the two worlds right here. This is the magical forest. On the other side, they went through the portal, and it came out into the human world. So they would go out there to the human world and adventure, because it was interesting seeing mechanical big creatures, mechanical to them. It was couldn't talk. They tried talking to the tractors, but they didn't make any sounds or anything. So it was a very odd world. So they would venture out, and one of the days that Darwin and Ørwin had ventured out, there was a giant bulldozer, and it had one of these claw-looking saw things. So just imagine, here's a tree, and the thing is, these trees were a little more vigorous in texture. It was hard for Ørwin to chew through it. The bark was kind of oily, not oily, but it had a lot of debris on the outside, so it kind of tasted weird. But anyways, it was a tree, like a pine tree, basically. They have pine trees out here too. Pine tree, it's not as beautifully drawn because it doesn't look as beautiful as the magical forest pine tree. So there's a pine tree, and well, there was a bulldozer, this kind of big, if I can draw it, alright, this doesn't really look very good, but wheel here, and it looks like a car, kind of, but not really. And there was an arm sticking up, like a mechanical arm. And there was this it was like a giant saw blade. And was a human inside of it. Just a human driving it. Little lights and stuff. Just like that. And he was sawing through it, through the tree, toppling it over. Well, Darwin and Ørwin were watching from afar, but they wanted to get closer. They actually wanted to try to, they wanted a better view on the sawdust that was being created. So, Ørwin ran up to the machinery and, he actually ended up climbing into the cab because the door was open, and he got in there, and the man that was driving the bulldozer wasn't really paying attention to his cutting. Like, he had some kind of autopilot thing for the cutting, so he wasn't paying attention, and he had a calendar, like a pamphlet, and he was marking off things, like check with a Sharpie. Check mark, check mark, check, 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 check. Got to cut down this tree here, got to cut down that one. The giant pine on the ridgeway. Have to bulldoze that one flat because new strip mall is being added. Have to do that on this date at this time and use this equipment. Check, 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 check. Well, as he was checking, he kind of drops his hand to the side that's holding the Sharpie, and of course little Ørwin is staring up at him, and the Sharpie comes down and hits Ørwin right in the side of the shoulder, right here, like a little dog. And of course that kind of freaks out Ørwin, and it kind of freaks out the man. He jolts his hand back and he's like, what was that? Oh, it's nothing, it's probably the toilet paper roll I had sitting behind me, kind of soft and squishy. Anyways, well, in that moment, Ørwin jumped down from the bulldozer and ran back to Darwin, who is down by the cave, still bearing out, of course, being a little bit worried about Ørwin, because big bulldozer, scary kind of. Well, Ørwin gets back, and he's like, my shoulder, it's hurt, and Darwin looks at it, and there's like this black tar stuff on his arm, and immediately Darwin starts to pluck out the hairs on Ørwin's shoulder, on his arm, and this black tar had made its way all the way into Ørwin's skin. It stained his skin. So Ørwin and Darwin immediately went back through the portal. Zoom. They walked out, they kind of scurried out, and they ran, scurried and flew and flapped down to the stream. There was a little stream in the magical forest, and just a couple of waves, and then Ørwin got into the stream, so washing off. There's a little friend here. So they started washing off in the stream, and of course the black ink would not go away. So now, permanently on Ørwin's arm is a tattoo, basically. It does not come off, and it kind of smells. If he smells it too long, he starts to get lightheaded, so that is not good, but eventually the Sharpie ink will dissipate. But in the meantime, because this happened very recently, meantime, he's just going to have to live with it for now. Well, his siblings were, and his mother and father saw us. He had told them that no, I didn't venture out into the Badlands or anything. I was just playing by the mushroom field, and one of the black tar mushrooms, you know, the old dead ones that you touch it and it goes poof, you know, puffy, and there's like a sap in the middle. It touched my skin and it just didn't go away. And of course his parents, yeah, they believed it. No, they don't think the sun is going out to the portal or anything like that. No. But anyways, besides going out and watching the humans build giant boxes and stuff like that, and bulldoze things, and drink some type of drinks that Ørwin has actually tasted and kind of liked it. But besides all that, in the magical forest, there's many things to do, and there's a lot more nice things to do and see. Like Ørwin, he's always wanted to be a top logger, a groundhog that logs giant trees. But the problem with that is his jumper's a little too small. But here and there he'll take a sandstone and sand his teeth down. It doesn't hurt. It's okay, he makes them nice and sharp. And it helps here and there, but he's training. So every day, even when his family doesn't need wood, he goes down and he sharpens his teeth and jumps away at different trees. And let's just say that a good part of their forest neighborhood has a lot of bite marks in the trees. And I don't know who's doing that, but it could be the pesky someone else, basically. But one thing that the ones that are very good at logging are the beavers, and the beavers, actually, it's a family. They're called the beavers, and they live about, I don't know, a mile away down by the river, different from the river that they cleaned off his arm from. It's a river further down that has bigger trees, like fir trees and cypresses. Even though cypress trees are more in like swampy areas, this river's not too swampy, but this, in the Magic Kingdom, Magic Land, any tree is possible. It doesn't really matter. It just sprouts because the weather in the magic world is so perfect for anything. There's even little bonsai trees, and he's not allowed to jump at the bonsais because they're very ancient, and they house little creatures. So, not that the other trees don't house creatures as well. It's just it's just a no-no. Just can't do that. Can't cut down the bonsais. But anyways, he goes down to the river. So it's not the river. It does connect to the river that they bathed in. But oops. So it goes down. Eventually connects to the big river. Like that. And there's big Christmas-looking trees along it, and these are the trees that the beavers like to collect, cut down because it makes very good homes. And on certain occasions, of course, they have to make the dams, so they will eventually block up the river that actually bathes oh my goodness, I'm forgetting already, the groundhog family. So the dam they usually creatures in the woods, like the hedgehogs and the opossums and raccoons, can collect the wood, and they can make homes with it. They can make doors. Sometimes they need wood doors on the holes in the ground, because sometimes there's a party and maybe a rabbit is a bit tipsy and he falls through the hole, and they have an unexpected visitor, so they need a wooden door. So these logs that float down the river provide wood for all the animals of the forest to make their nice doors with. And then the trees also in the magical forest grow quite fast, because the air is so rich and environment is so pure. They grow quite fast. And these little beavers, let me draw a beaver. It kind of looks like this. Little head, and of course a little beaver tail. You can kind of see it. And maybe this little baby beaver right here. Little, like that, a couple of babies. Like that. And there's quite a few beavers. And they go and they chop down trees. Here's a tree in the distance. It's a big tree. And they chopped it at the bottom, and it fell. And here it is on the ground. And all the beavers are on top of the tree, chewing away. There we go. And they're bringing it back and building up the dam again. And that is a nice little system they have going on. So Ørwin will go and watch them, and he will learn tricks of the trade. Of course, they are friends. They're all friends in the forest. So he learns how to properly timber a giant tree, and sometimes they'll give him a little it's a type of plant that has a big leaf on it. They'll tie it to his tail to replicate a beaver tail. So because the beaver tail gives good leverage for when they have to carry big logs and stuff, kind of holds them down as they walk. So